happening? What?
Come down in here, I can't hear so well. But I just hear pop.
I'm here for years wanting to get a baby, and I will speak about my baby. I am excited of my first fruit daughter.
Let signs and wonders, miracles follow you.
Welcome to Wafif Connect. Here's your host.
Well, it is a Monday, and of course, you know, we are here. It is Worship and Faith International Fellowship all across the world with our different campuses, of course, in Canada, in Kingston, in Spanish Town, which is our headquarters, in Clarendon, and this is Wafif, Florida. My name is Kimola Lowe, and I am the pastor here at the local church in Florida. Want to give God thanks for our apostle and the first lady. Want to say a very big ups to Code Blue. Yes, man. Yesterday was sports day, and I'm telling you, my house just whopped them up and stopped them up. CD, big up yourself. All right, so we're going to jump into the first feature of the day.
Please stay tuned for the thought of the day.
The thought of the day is brought to you by our very good sponsors over there at Aunt May's Helsha Style Fish Fry Fridays. This and every Friday, they have a wide variety of mouth-watering meals that will just make you feel so delightful in your taste buds. So go check them out. They are at 3799 Northwest 26th Street in Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. Give them a call at 954-701-7732 or 954-990-3557. Now, yesterday was a powerful day in church. We were talking about leveling up in grace. And for the entire month of September, we started in August. And for the entire month of August and September, we've been talking about going to another level. And at Wafif, Florida, this is all the Wafifs. We've been talking about leveling up, going to another dimension because of what we believe that God is going to be doing in the lives of his people. And so yesterday in the message, we were talking about at Wafif FL, leveling up in grace. We've been talking about it for maybe 3 weeks now because we recognize how important grace is. And so on yesterday, we talked about 4 types of grace. Number 1, saving grace. And saving grace is what helps you to believe the gospel. Let me backtrack a little bit to help you to know that grace is everything that God is. That's number 1. Also, grace is what one preacher says is a conscious awareness of the vastness of the blessings of God. And so it's like a light bulb going off in your mind, or in your brain rather. And not only that, but the strength, the courage, the wisdom, and as I said to the church yesterday, also the judgment, the correct balance of the fear of God that gets you moving in the right direction. So saving grace helps you to believe the gospel. The Bible tells us that it is by grace that we are saved through faith. So faith is not activated without grace. So in order for us to be saved, or the reason why you are saved is because grace came upon you, a conscious awareness came upon you, and now you are saved. There's also irresistible grace, where receiving the gospel, you just can't resist it. There is a power that comes with irresistible grace, that when you preach the gospel, and every evangelist, every person who is a disciple of Christ making other disciples needs this kind of grace, where people just getting, coming into your presence and you sharing the gospel with them, they just can't resist the love of Jesus because you carry that irresistible grace. We talked about sustaining grace. Paul says that he prayed in the book of Corinthians, he prayed that God would remove this thing from him. But God told him that his grace, God's grace, is sufficient to keep him. And I want to say to us today that sustaining grace is needed for us to go through the different tribulations and trials that we will go through. Because if you're not going into a storm, you're coming out of one, or you're currently in a storm. And that's what life is all about. is that we go through difficulties. But this is what James says. It did not come to kill us. It came to make us strong. And finally, we talked about empowering grace. That grace that comes upon you to get you going, get you up out of that bed, get you up out of that feeling of depression or whatever is coming up on your life, for you to move towards what God has said to you. I don't know where you are today or what you need, but maybe you need saving grace. Maybe you need irresistible grace. Maybe you need sustaining grace or empowering grace. But I declare that grace is coming upon your life today. That's my thought for today. Let's jump into who is in the house. All right, so it's going to be me today. All right, so I'm sure you guys have been listening to us for some time now, myself and DJ CD. Want to say big up to my girl again. And, you know, we just are so elated to be able to come to you each week and to just have real conversations, because guess what? This is real people with real testimonies and real results. Real things happen in real people's life, right? And I know you are a real one. So today we're talking about leveling up. So I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about relationship. And, you know, looking just back at my life and the connection my husband and I would have forged before we became married. You know, we don't believe in girlfriend. No kissing up in, no hugging up in. No, we don't believe in those things. But you have to date and you have to court before you get married. So during the process of my husband and I going on that journey, falling in love, you know, getting to that point of engagement, marriage, and so on, there are different levels that personally I, as a woman, had to go to. So I'm going to use the term girlfriend, but I'm not suggesting that you go out there and girlfriend up nobody, okay? So moving from a girlfriend to a wife to now being a mom. These are three different places in life, let me tell you. So when my husband and I went, well, my now husband and I, when we were dating and, you know, we going out and we getting to know each other, you know, there are some days when, you know, probably never felt like doing stuff or talking or going anywhere. You know, as a friend, yes, you're working on the relationship, working on it for it to be stronger and stuff. And by the way, cuddling season is coming up because y'all know it's weather. So big ups to all the lovers out there. So you know, being a girlfriend, for example, it's different because guess what? Girlfriends can talk, can walk away, but wives have got to stay. Okay, so this is the thing. When you are in marriage, it's not like you can get up and say, oh, I'm done, I'm out, I'm this or whatever. No, you made a commitment. And so when you're moving from that level of friendship to being a wife, you know, not that you're going into prison, because marriage actually frees you, but that's another conversation. But you are going into a covenant now with this man or with this woman. Men, and we only believe in male and female relationship, just want to make that clear. But you want to make sure that you know that this is not something you can get up and switch on and switch off. Being a friend, you know, you probably don't feel like it today or whatever the case may be, but being a wife, that's going to be a total different thing. And there are days when I became a wife that I just never felt like it. But that never fed the marriage relationship. No, I'm not saying that as a friend you can do whatever, because even then you are still in somewhat of a deeper connection, especially if you're moving towards marriage. You want to do things that's going to feed life into the relationship. And I'm not talking about sexual impurity and stuff like that. I'm talking about wholesome conversations, devotions, spending healthy time together. That's going to feed the relationship. As a wife now, you know that you don't always get to just feel what you feel and do what you do. No, honey, you've got to do what you know you ought to do and submit to that man. And I know that submission is hard for a lot of wives and a lot of women, and that's why a lot of women are like, you know, I don't know about this marriage thing. But actually, the Holy Spirit had said to me one day that submitting to your husband is, and there is also mutual submission, but that's for another day. But submitting to your husband is you matching that man's energy. I can't wait to teach on that, because some of us, we are much higher in our energy than the man. For example, if you go out to a restaurant and the waitress comes around and, you know, she does something stupid or he does something stupid, and your husband is just chilled about it, being understanding, but you're quarreling and fussing and doing all that stuff, you know, maybe as a friend, that's okay. But when you are that man's wife, you have become the picture in that frame. So submerging yourself into that man, and in a moment like that, adapting, because wives must have very good adaptability quotient to be able to adapt to that, and you know, that moment that man is in, so you two can just match his energy. Because if he's the leader and he's supposed to fix situations like this, let him do it. Baby, that took me some time to learn. Okay. It took me some time to learn through fasting and prayer and advice and counsel. And I will not tell you that I am 100%, but I'm definitely not 100% where I was. Amen. So now moving into becoming a mother. First of all, let me share a testimony with you. When I first got pregnant in 2020, my apostle was in town, and at the time he was bishop, and he was in town, and you know, the Lord spoke to my husband and I, and we sowed a seed, our first fruit, in that man of God's life, and he released a word over us. I'm telling you, that was in January. By February we were pregnant. No kidding. And this is after us trying for some time and not getting pregnant. But there it was, that just after we released the seed, we got pregnant. So seed sowing definitely does work. It unlocks things that you would never have been able to unlock if it is that you didn't sow. So now moving into becoming a mother. For example, my toddler is now going to school. Let me tell you, there are days I don't want to get up. Today was one of those days I didn't want to get up early. But because you know that the future of that child is dependent on the decisions you make today, especially when it comes to education and, you know, teaching that child to be punctual and all of that stuff, you don't get to just lay down. You don't get to be late. You don't get to, you know, not be on top of things and getting that uniform ready and getting stuff going, because you've got to be prepared for the next day. So you know now that, because before, you know, I didn't have to get up that early and I didn't have to do stuff that way. But now, you know, thank God I was practicing to put stuff in place so that when now becoming a mother or becoming a parent, I don't struggle to be able to get those things done, because I would have sat in different sessions with Apostle McLean, learned the art of planning, used my productivity planner, which I'm advising you to get. It's on Amazon. You can get your productivity planner so that you can plan your day. Learning the art of planning is so important to moving to the next level. So let me wrap up by just going back over what I said. Moving from being a friend, and I'm speaking specifically to relationships. And I want to give God thanks on my husband. I want to give God thanks on my church. Had it not been for the man of God, the anointing that we were under, I don't know if we would have made it till today. So you do need that community that you can lean on, especially when you get into marriage, because becoming a wife or becoming a husband, you have to level up. You have to move to another dimension. You have to get up to a greater level. It's not just being friends anymore. This is a commitment. This is a covenant. And then when you move to becoming responsible for little lives, oh, that's a whole nother level. And you can't be the same, do the same thing and get different results. It's a level up season, and I'm encouraging you to move from that place and get to another dimension. Some of you want to be wives, some of you want to be husbands, but you're still acting like a girlfriend. You're still acting like a friend. No, you got to level up so that God can release that blessing into your life. Look at Esther. Oh my goodness. Esther had to soak in oils and perfumes. She had to prepare for a year before she was able to become that king's wife. You want to marry a king? You got to be ready. That's my few words for today. I love you guys. I dropped a little testimony in there, little personal stuff, but I hope that you enjoyed this program and share it with somebody. We love you. We'll see you next week again for Wafif Connect.
You've just heard Wafif Connect, a program about the supernatural, where you get your miracles now. That's right, real stories from real people with real results. And aired on this station Monday to Friday at 4:30 p.m. with Apostle Courtney McLean and our campus pastors, Reverend Kimola Lowe of Wafif Fort Lauderdale, Pastor Michael Taylor, Wafif Kingston, Reverend Kenroy Waldo, Wafif Clarendon, and Reverend Tennyson Dixon of Wafif Canada, and produced by Wafif Worship and Faith International Fellowship. Connect with us on Instagram at Miracles Now Connect.
Want to thank you for tuning into Wafif Connect right here on Omega Radio. Join in each and every weekday, yes, Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. You're just locked in here with Reverend Kimola Brownlow on Wafif Connect. Stay locked in and don't go anywhere. We got more coming your way here on Omega Radio.